KROC has hosted many of the biggest names in show business. This recording is from November 11th, 1939, and features actor Jackie Coogan. Baby boomers may remember Coogan as Uncle Fester in the Addams Family. But before that, Coogan was one of Hollywood's busiest actors, starting at age 6 with Charlie Chaplin in The Kid. This visit finds Coogan starring in the production What a Life on the Chateau Theatre stage, and visiting with KROC's Butch Morganson.
Well, we have with us in the studio today the young man you've heard so much about ever since his first picture, The Kid, Jackie Coogan. Jackie, first of all, I'm going to ask you, how long ago was it you appeared in The Kid?
That was 21 years ago, but you erred a little bit when you said that was my first picture.
Pardon me?
You see, I started 2 years before that, at the ripe old age of 2, but nothing came of it, so I think we better start with The Kid.
The Kid, that was your first, what you might term, success.
Yes.
How long did it take to make the picture, The Kid?
1 year and 1 day. We started on November 1st and finished on November 2nd of the next year.
Does Charlie Chaplin always take that long to make a picture?
Well, no. I understand that this production that he's in now figures to wind up in about 2 months, so that will be 4 months in production, which is something of a record for Mr. Chaplin.
You evidently are still quite an admirer of Charlie Chaplin.
Well, I think he's one of the finest actors and one of the finest directors and knows more about camera angles than any man in the business.
How do you go about doing the work? Do you study your lines for a long time and then rehearse and then put on the show, or do you sort of learn your lines as you go along?
No, you see, you never learn your lines because you never know where they're going to shoot the next day, because sometimes on a picture you have interiors and sometimes you have exteriors, and if it's cloudy, why, you have interiors, and you never know where you are. So you just take your script in your hand the first day and then you trust to luck. And then the director said, well, we'll shoot B27, which is the number of a scene in sequence B. And you're off to the races.
I don't know how you know what you're doing.
Well, sometimes I wonder myself, and if you've seen some of the recent pictures, why, you can understand.
Well, tell me, do you find it easier to work when you're saying your lines than when you had to pantomime all the way through?
Well, I worked in silent pictures, you see, up until talkies came in 28. I think that there was a lot more work connected with pantomime, because there were so many things to remember, and the scenes were so much longer. But now with dialogue, you don't have to express so many things. The lines tell everything.
Express it with your voice.
Yes.
So tell me, Jackie, this is your first experience in legitimate theater, I believe. You get as much of a kick out of it as you do appearing before the cameras?
Oh, much more, because you get an audience reaction. You see, it's the ham in every actor that comes out when they face the audience.
Do you think you've learned something from your work on the stage that you couldn't learn in the movies?
Well, you see, I didn't learn anything in pictures that would have helped me on the stage. What I learned that I carried to the stage with me, I learned from vaudeville.
Oh, I see. You have been in vaudeville, too.
Yes, I played, 250 weeks in vaudeville altogether. I played in musicals, and I played both in this country and in Europe and in foreign languages and about every place that you can think. In fact, I think the only form of amusement that I have missed is burlesque.
How about showboats?
Well...
And how about medicine shows?
Well, that's not amusement, I don't think. No, I had my own dance band. I had a radio show out of New York, pictures, of course, and now the legitimate. And I think that's really the big four. But burlesque and the showboat and the medicine, I wouldn't know much about those. But I would like to take a fling at burlesque for a week.
I think you'd enjoy showboat, too, no fooling.
Yeah, well,
live right on the boat, you know,
yeah,
down the Mississippi.
I get seasick so easy.
Well, tell me, Jackie, how do you like radio work?
Well, I think there's the easiest work in the world.
Oh.
I mean, for the actual amount of time that you put in, for the money you make, I think it's very easy work. You go to work in the picture studio and you see what a mill that is, and then you begin to appreciate what a microphone is.
Oh, by the way, what are the average hours for a movie actor when they're shooting a picture?
Well, you get up about and you go to bed about 1:30, you know.
In other words, there's no nightlife when you're working on a picture.
No, you can't have. On location calls especially. I made a picture just before I left Hollywood called Sky Patrol, and we had 5 days location at an airport, and it was early morning stuff, and the call was 5 o'clock. So that meant 4 o'clock up, out there at 5. We shot all day, back into the studio at 7 o'clock, dinner, work till 12, and then you see, on account of the Screen Actors Guild, if they call you back before 12 hours has elapsed, why, they have to make amends. And you know what kind of amends I mean.
Uh-huh.
So then they have to give you 12 hours, and we were very happy for those 12 hours. But it's that long day that really kills you, and it takes 2 days to catch up for it.
Jack, you have quite a nice show here tonight. How do you like What a Life as a play?
Well, I enjoy it very much. It's a fine little play, and it's packed with laughs.
What's going to be interesting to the folks who have seen the picture and seeing the show tonight is the fact that the two stars who play Henry, is that his name?
Henry Aldrich.
Jackie Cooper and Jackie Coogan are both boys who really grew up in movies.
That's right.
How did you like Jackie Cooper's work in the part?
Well, I thought Jackie did a fine job. I've been sort of a god uncle to him for quite a while.
That's so?
I helped direct him in a picture a long time ago. Jackie's a very good friend of mine.
I imagine you have a different interpretation of the part, haven't you?
Well, you see, I have to have because I ain't as young as I used to be.
Well, thank you a lot, Jackie, for coming down here today to talk to us on the air. We've mentioned his name, Jackie, all the way through. In case you didn't know who it was Jackie Coogan in person, appearing also in person on the stage of the Chateau Theatre tonight in the great show, What a Life. So we urge you all to go down and see it. And you've been listening to this interview from the main studios of KROC in Rochester, Minnesota.